So it looks like it finally happened. So Pokemon is suing Palworld. So I did a video on this the other day in regards to Pokemon suing some Chinese corporation in regards to them using their likeness as far as the Pokemon go and as far as some of their artwork goes for their promotion. And so I had actually discussed some of the information as far as Pokemon going after Palworld and everything like that. And in the video, I even mentioned that I didn't think that this was actually going to be a thing because of the fact that Palworld is such a different game in regards to it being something where you can actually catch humans and not just Pokemon, or in their case like the little pals or whatever they call them. It was a crafting game, as well as the fact that it was a game where you focus on like kind of building your own base. So I figured that would have been enough for them to kind of decide that they weren't going to go after them, but that isn't the case. So pretty much what's happening is that Pokemon and the Nintendo company are going to be suing pocketpair. And pocketpair is pretty much the developers of Palworld, and which is a little bit interesting because the companies are actually both based in Japan. So it is one of those things that you would think that since Palworld had been working on this for so long, that the Pokemon company would have at least kind of caught wind of it and would have probably would have like at least tried to nip this in the butt a little bit quicker than they would have, as far as waiting as long as they have, because it is one of those things a lot of people have been kind of speculating why it's been taking them so long to go after them, considering that they could have kind of went after them when the game first came out. Some people are giving speculation that the reason they didn't is because the game was so hyped, so many people were into it, that if Pokemon would have went after them at that time, they probably would have faced some backlash as far as the fan base goes and everything like that, because it seemed like a lot of people that were into Pokemon were going to Palworld to kind of get their Pokemon fix. So that was something I thought was pretty interesting, as well as the fact that in the video that I had done the other day, we had gotten some word from one of the chiefs at Pokemon. So we'll see right here. So the former chief legal officer of Pokemon Company said in March that it doesn't actively seek out fan projects to shut down, but only did so when they crossed a certain line. So, as far as that goes, I'm guessing that the line that they feel had been crossed would have been the way that the Pokemon or the pals in Pal World are designed. So, as far as, because when it comes down to the lawsuit that they're going for, they're going for infringement, and which would pretty much, them they want to get like a injunction, which is pretty much getting some compensation for, the time that they have been producing this game. So pretty much since back in January. So they do want to get some type of compensation for that. And there is a possibility that if they do follow through with the lawsuit and everything like that, and it does work in their favor, they could possibly shut the game down. That might be a little bit far fetched, but as far as we know, but especially considering how things are just settled or just getting discovered. But further down the line, there is a chance that that might be something that they might consider. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then just some of the other information I remember reading at the last paragraph here. So, though not a fan project, the popularity of Pokemon with Guns game Palworld may had many comparing it to the Nintendo Classic. The Pokemon Company only released a fair tame and generic statement in response, though. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on the intellectual property rights related to the Pokemon. So it seems like this is actually something that they had in like the pipeline for a while now. So they've probably been looking into it and trying to see what they can do about this. So my guess is be one of those things where it's just that they're upset at the fact that Power World did so good because of, how many sales, how well it did in sales and everything like that. And they're probably just thinking like that's profit that they could have made, something that they could have had in regards to, their games and everything like that. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things where a lot of the Pokemon fans have been mentioning for a while that Pokemon hasn't really come out with a good game in a while. Cause I forgot what the last ones. I don't think it wasn't Sword and Shield. It was a different one. But I remember some people were talking about how they weren't really satisfied with the gameplay. It got really repetitive and it wasn't really that fun. It got kind of dumbed down, they say. So the fact that Power World was doing so well is something that I'm sure kind of pissed Nintendo off in a bit, as well as the fact that they probably felt like the likeness of their Pokemon were being like besmirched and kind of looked negatively upon them. So I thought that was pretty crazy, as well as the fact that the Steam numbers kind of showed just how well the game had been doing. I'm not sure what had happened as far as the dip went. I think this was just kind of popularity kind of dying down. But then when it shows when it rose, I don't remember anything specifically happening that kind of caused that. But again, it kind of just dipped back down after a while. But still, I think the fact that it had this many players playing it at its peak is something that Nintendo was very aware of, and is something that they had on their radar. So it's probably a big chance they've been trying to look into this for a while. So those are my thoughts on that. I think it's pretty crazy that this is all happening, especially considering that it's been this long. But at the end of the day, it is one of those things. We're gonna go ahead and play a little bit of this right here, where it does show that a lot of the creatures here, they really do look like regular Pokemon. So even like watching this trailer right here, you can't help but think like, oh, this looks like a regular Pokemon game. Let's see here, some of the pals that they have, so that the way that they're running around, the features. Again, it is one of those things where it is kind of hard to tell if it would be the same, because of the fact that the main characters here are using guns, as well as the creatures in here, they're using guns as well. So you could kind of argue that is the difference. But again, it is with the way that the Pokemon look is what I think that, the Pokemon company, I mean the pals look is what the Pokemon company is going after. So it's one of those things, like, I'm pretty sure that Pokemon is probably going to be able to get a win on Palworld as far as the lawsuit goes, just because they have so much funding behind them, that chances are they're going to get the upper hand on Palworld, which would be a shame, just because Palworld was able to come out with a game that a lot of players did enjoy and they actually liked. So the fact that that's probably going to be the case will most likely be a little bit of a negative in my mind. But those are my thoughts on that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.